Good morning, Catherine Kim Mullen from Sage Navigation, and I'm coming here live from Montreal. Very strange day. We had a little bit of snow. It stayed on the grass, however, not enough to play with. And that's the weather. Now let's talk about intro to vision mapping. A couple of weeks ago, this will be the third week, we started a course on intro to vision mapping. In the first week, we dived into who you are, who you were, and who you want to be. And now, last week, and that's what I want to talk about today, we talked about what you want. So if you had all the money in the world, and you had all the time in the world, and you knew you could not fail, what do you want? And that's a hard question. The question is, you can have it all. So making choices for what you want is not always easy. So let's look at this. Let's talk about the starting of knowing what you want. Well, what is a vision board? A vision board, which we refer to sometimes as a distraction or a clearing board, is the start of the journey of living life by design, stepping into you and getting what you want. So what do you do with a vision board? Well, what you do is you dream. It's all about creation. And you start playing. And the purpose of it is to see what you're attracted to. Oftentimes we think we want something, but really we're attracted to it, and the big question is why? So it's not a step that should be eliminated. It's a step to dive real deep and do it well. And I'll talk about that in a second. Let's jump to the next thing. What is a goal? A goal. Do you have a goal? And that's another thing. Many people do goal setting, but it's about goal achieving. And I was fortunate enough to set my goals in my 20s when I met Zig Ziglar. And I was in the third row, if you can imagine, in a room, and he was quite the character. And he understood what it was to strategize and create a goal. I would say a vision board is his first step to goal setting, which is brainstorming the be, do, and have. Who do you want to be? What do you want to do? And what do you want to have? And a goal is something you think about, you write it down on a goal card. A vision board is where you get to play the first step towards what's next. What do I really want? You've heard me say it before. I thought I wanted a sailboat. I got one. I sailed. Only to find out that I enjoy sailing and I enjoy the water. But I really didn't want the obligation, the responsibility, and the burden of having to sail every week and deal with the sailboat. Wasn't my thing. I enjoyed the casual go out on the water for a few hours, but it wasn't really what I wanted. I was attracted to it, but it's only after I had it that I realized I didn't want it. Had I put it on a vision board and I looked at my lifestyle afterwards and I made choices, I would have realized that having that meant I couldn't have something else that I wanted more. Example, I had an amazing career in real estate, and I was traveling the country, working with the Business Development Bank of Canada, negotiating leases. I was good at it, I was making a lot of money, and I loved what I was doing. I never thought I'd have children. At 41, I had a son. How fortunate was I? So I set my life up not to have children. My vision, I always wanted a child, but as soon as I had my son David, raising him and my career in real estate were in a conflict. I couldn't do both and feel successful based on what I felt success was. An example. But on my vision board, I had both. On my vision map, I didn't. I had real estate, but I had it where I wasn't traveling. So it's not about not having it. It's about putting it in the right place, the right time, in the right way. So let's talk about, many of you already know, I studied with the Napoleon Hill Foundation. I was fortunate enough to be welcomed by them to go for certification and really to dive deep into his 17 principles of success that he talks about in The Law of Success, his book. And lesson 1 is definiteness of purpose. And that's really, at its basic, is a goal. You have a goal, but it's very specific and there are steps to it. If you want to know more, please reach out. I'll be glad to have a conversation with you on it. Let's get back to what I said, what you want, and the starting point. Definiteness of purpose is the starting point of all achievement, is what Napoleon Hill says. And it is. So that's having a goal. There's more to it than that, but let's get back to the point of where it starts with Intro to Vision Mapping. It starts with a vision board. What is a vision board? It's a whole bunch of pictures, words, letters, things that you're attracted to. When I create a vision board, or when we teach vision boarding, what we say is, gather all your pictures, and you're looking for that gut, what makes you feel like, oh, wow. And then the things that say, oh, I don't want that, you make sure they're not there. You don't bring them along with you. But then what you have is the goal setting on the side. And what you say is, who do I want to be with relation to Sage's 5 pillars, which are who do I want to be when it relates to my physical being, physical wealth. Then I go to what do I want to have when it relates to one of the pillars. Might be, what do I want to have in my physical pillar? What house do I want to have? What trips do I want to take? Well, that would go under what do I want to do. But I would have my sheet of paper, be, do, and have, like Zig Ziglar taught. I would have my vision board, populating that, gathering pictures. I'm not even putting it on the board yet. I'm just gathering. First step, what do I like? What do I like? Rip it apart, have fun. What is my gut saying? I would tap into one of the 6 higher faculties of the mind, which is imagination. And Napoleon Hill shares very well there's 2 types of imagination, creative and synthetic. We'll talk about that in another week. Join me on Monday mornings. That's what I like to do. Sometimes Haley joins me. Sometimes Kareen joins me. Sometimes I'm here on my own. Let's get to the vision board. If you have a vision board, take a look. How many contradictions are there on your board? Do you have contradictions on your vision board? Do you really want what's on your vision board? So when you look at your physical pillar, when you look at your social and your social responsibility as well, when you look at your financial, like, have you picked a number that's realistic? Do you need that much? Or do you have enough budgeted to live the life you want to live in all areas of your life? Now, mental, what are you feeding your mind? What do you want to do that you want to feed your mind next year? What do you want to study? Every year I pick something. Last year I studied Napoleon Hill's to be certified, and it was well worth it. I grew. And isn't life about the growth that we have? Like, really, to think and bring to life our ideas starts create a vision board. Now, what you're going to do is you need to set up, how do you do that? Set up a space for creativity. Have everything you need there, crayons and coloring and your computer for pictures and your magazines, and you put it all together. And what you do is start to play. And you think of a blank canvas. You have your paper. Well, this is what I want to be, or who I want to be is a better word. When I get that, am I going to get to be who I want to be? No. So there's a lot more to discuss with it. What I want to stay here is take a break and then come back to it at a different time, in a different frame of mind. Why don't you create a vision board? And then next week, we'll talk about the next step. But if you want to learn to create a vision board digitally, I'm really excited because I've never created a digital vision board. But Corrine will be teaching that tomorrow night between 7 and 7:30. If you want to know more about it, let us know in the chat and we'll send you the Zoom link. So you can join us. It's not 7 and 7:30. I apologize. It's 7:30. Join us at 7:30 Eastern Time, where Corrine will take the time to show you how to manage, manipulate, and build your vision board with Pinterest. She'll introduce a little bit. She's not showing you how to use Canva. She's not showing you how to use Pinterest, but she's showing you what to do with Pinterest and Canva to create your very own vision board. Your vision board that is the start of the journey to getting what you want. So now that you spent some time, if you want to learn more, please reach out. Go to Sage Navigation and don't miss your opportunity to join people on that journey of growth and looking at, what do I want? What can I do? What do I want to do? It's the start to the next step, which we'll talk about next week, where you transition it, where there are no contradictions, where you learn to eliminate distractions, and when you learn to get what you want, what you have to do to get what you want, and not what somebody else wants for you. That was my biggest value learning with Zig Ziglar, was all the questions that you had to ask for everything. He taught me to assess, to analyze. Bob Proctor really drives the point, and so does Napoleon Hill. Make a decision. Choose. Come back next week to talk about, I'll be talking about choose and invite maybe Haley or Corrine to join me. But definitely I'll be here next week at 10:30. And I welcome you to join us tomorrow night. Have a wonderful day. Enjoy Halloween, by the way. Have fun masquerading. Even in the day, what mask are you going to wear tomorrow? Even if you don't have a physical mask, why don't you play? Why don't you act like someone you want to be? One time I acted like Jennifer Lopez. I had fun, I danced, I sang. Another time I acted like a clown. I had fun, I played. How are you going to act tomorrow? What are you going to do that's going to give you fun on the day of masquerades? Sending you light and love, Catherine Kim Mullen, and looking forward to meeting you one day.